And of course, time is calling us to be part in another exciting session for tonight. We have prepared a special session in which one of my first powerful mentors will portray us his wisdom, his liberty, and his will to survive. Without further ado, to give us a workshop called Turning Ideas into Speech, let us welcome DTM Rajesh Venugopal.
Ooh, good evening, Toastmaster Freddie, to the Liberty Workshop. It's so good to be back in Desert Pioneers, and I'm so eagerly waiting to interact with all of you. It's basically all about ideas, topic, speeches, something 20 minutes of what we will have called fun and learning session. In this is how the agenda will look like. So we will talk about ideas, converting ideas into speeches. We'll do a small group activity. Now, for the group activity, I need to divide you all into two teams. Okay, so just a small introduction about myself, corporate trainer. I'm a learning and development. I do work at the full time as a learning and development professional with EcoWord Facilities Management Company. Yes, I'm a distinguished Toastmaster, but still learning every time I step into the shoes of Toastmasters. A proud DPTM member, Division Contest runner-up for International Speech category. This line was only mentioned because I'm doing a workshop today, and I'm extremely passionate about learning new skills. So that's a small introduction about myself. You could call me as Raj, my nickname. Now, what are we going to do today? Ideas. We have 15 speeches in every path, in pathways. So every time we get to a speech, this is my problem. I don't know what to do with the speeches. I don't know how to start with the topic. So this was the biggest challenge which I was like living through. Then I was trying to wonder, like, is this true with each and every one of you? So may I have a show of hands to see, do you all get inconvenient or uncomfortable thinking about the topics? Is it so easy, or just doesn't come to you at all? So people who have difficulties, who are like Raj or Rajesh, so raise your hands, please. I just want to know how many people in the crowd are okay, more or less. So more or less like me. So that's perfect. I will not include Hanan here because Hanan is the one who is very perfect and one who prepares very well. So let's exclude Hanan from this list. The rest of you all from my gang. So today's workshop is for all of us. Right. So this is the concern, right? We have 15 speeches. How do we get ideas? There are so many thoughts which comes in. Sometimes we get a brilliant idea. Wow, I'm going to rock with this idea and the concept. I start writing it, and then I'm like, I don't know where is it heading to. Is this the right topic? Should I even change it now, or is it too late? Let me just try and fix it, makeshift arrangements here and there, and let me just pull myself through the speech. So this is how I was when I was giving my speeches. And how did I come through? Definitely, there were issues, and there were a lot of things which I learned. But in the meanwhile, just give me 1 second, please. Yeah. Okay. So it's quite easy to if you ask me to convert an idea into speech, there are two main solutions I could give you. It's called collect and create, right? So what are those? Two C's: collect and create. This is the only way you could build up ideas, because it's very logical. If you don't have a base, ideas, or a thought process, you will not be able to make speeches. So basically, you need to build your base well, right? What are ideas for anybody is basically your thoughts, your expressions, your stories. Why do you tell somebody or your colleague or your boss, I have an idea? That's because you are coming up with the thoughts in that particular situation, which probably you would have experienced before, could be the right fit. And that's one reason, you need to have a continuous storage of your ideas somewhere. So this is where I had come up with this exercise for myself called collect and create. What is collect all about is basically collection, right? All the areas from where you can collect the information. Now I used to read a lot. Basically, the readings would be like, if I like a topic, let's say it could be freedom. So probably just Google search and read a lot about freedom, different ways which I feel I relate myself to freedom. Okay, so I just make a make a Google search and then make some notes about that. So that's one area where I used to really collect a lot of information. The second one was international speeches. Now, how many of you have this habit of attending international speeches? This is the contest speeches, basically. The club speeches, division speeches. Yeah, the DTAC speech is going to come soon. So how many so generate this habit? If you want to be a good speaker, generate this habit of experiencing international speeches, because this is an area where you get fantastic ideas. Now, you don't need to replicate the ideas. Example, today's speech from Asil, Toastmaster Asil, was beautiful. She just recollected all the speeches of our world champions. Now, when I have personally experienced each and every one of them, they have brilliant ideas there. The way they resonate with a particular situation, they had presented the speech. That was a real database for me. A lot of things which I had made note of. So it's very important that you participate in contest and make notes. Make notes of two things. One is, what is the concept all about? What are they talking about? And how are they relating these concepts? This is what you need to know. You don't need to know what are they saying and then copy into your speeches. No, you need to know how they relate their ideas into the speeches. That is the trick here. Okay, we're going to do that exercise, so we'll get back to that later. One more thing which is very important for you all: you speak to your relatives, your friends. Many of your times, most of you by yourself have a lot of stories, right? On an average, I think this group's age would be what, 30 years? That's 10,000 days between us, right? So if you collect one incident, that's 10,000 incidents which you have from your own life. What more you need? You're a database of ideas yourself. Now, what I prefer is I speak to my grandmother, grandfathers, my relatives. They talk about my naughty childhood. Sometimes they talk about situations where I'm actually acted very maturely. Sometimes they talk about my mistakes which I did in my life. All these can be converted into speeches for me, right? So these are all my collection areas. So whenever they say, I relate to it and I make notes of that. So that's something very, very important. The next thing is basically, newspaper articles. Everyone needs newspapers. What kind of articles can you read is something which is interest for you. But what those articles can be, like your new ideas, which can be converted to stories, that is more important. So this is where you could probably take a notes of interesting newspaper articles, which keeps coming in. And the last is table topics. Do not run away from table topics. Table topics is that bundle of ideas which can come towards you. So any club you go, or take the opportunity to visit clubs, especially that table topic segment, make sure you attend them, because that is where you get a lot of ideas, a lot of thoughts, a lot of situations which can actually be converted into speeches for yourself. Are we good till here? Are we good till here? Okay, perfect. Now, what is the second part? Create. Create is something which is your individual creativity, right? This is something which you do it by yourself. In this case, the first suggestion for me is maintain your diary. Every Toastmaster, a senior Toastmaster, if you meet, they will really suggest you saying keep a diary for yourself. Why? Because that is where you actually start writing your whole journey from the time you join Toastmasters till how you're progressing. And in the meanwhile, you can actually keep notes of each and every situation which comes before you, right? And this is where you keep notes and revisiting those notes later. These notes are basically, yes, ideas, situations, experiences, which could maybe be converted into speeches, right? That's one part of it. The next time is the next main thing, which I believe is the main thing for me to get more ideas, is spending me time. This, many of us may not be doing effectively. Maybe because we have families with us and we have work commitments. So the me time is basically those 15 minutes or 30 minutes of only yourself. If you have a separate room, go to that separate room, close the door, just take time for yourself and think about all the things, situations which has come, people who have appreciate the people who have done good to you, forgive the people who have done bad or not that great things to you, and rethink your life again, right? This is the best moment where you get lot of ideas. And these ideas which you get with your me time are the best inspirational stories you can make about, right? That's my personal suggestion here. Now, Other than these, you should also spend time creating a goal for yourself. Why? When you create a goal, you actually are working towards it, right? And when you're working towards something, you are making changes in yourself. When you make changes in yourself, this is where you become an inspirational speaker, right? This is where you can actually tell an inspirational story of what it was and what it will be, or probably what it went to be. So, this is where create a goal for yourself. Try to learn new skills. Try to keep yourself changing from Raj 1 to Raj 2, which is a better version of yourself. Do not get down, get better. Okay. And this is where you get better stories to tell to people around you. And the last thing I always say is the last two things basically. One, spend time observing things around you. Now, I used to be very busy with my life, right? So it was like work and family, Toastmasters, and that's it. So there was not much of area where I was observing things around me. So then came a stage where the change happened, and I started seeing things around me, the nature, spending time or walk in the park, or probably just a swim in the beach. Lot of thoughts comes in. Okay, nature in itself is a lot of ideas. So give your time to nature to observe things around you. When you're driving, and when you're stopping at the signal, try and take a look around. You will see situations around you. Probably one guy who is sitting in the next car yelling, shouting. Probably one small baby who is actually coming out from the top thing and waving the hands. There are a lot of things which could come up. I actually saw a couple, who were actually hitting at each other, and then immediately at the next signal they were so much in love. So there are so many situations around you. That's nature all about. So observe around yourself. The last thing, challenge yourself. Challenge yourself in terms of everything, right? Even as a speaker, right? If you're doing a speech in a particular way today, observe your speech and try to see how you can make yourself better. When you try to make yourself better, this is where you actually get that motivational part to do things in a different way, and that gets converted into a speech. So create, collect. This is my main area where I get my eureka moments. Now, um, let's make it more simple. If you have to convert all the ideas which you have made to create and collect, and if you want to create it to a story part or a speech, I will give you 3 steps. It's basically simplify, relate, and link. SRL. Very simple. Okay. Even if you don't understand, I'll give you a slide with 2 examples where we will come through a situation, how we can convert that particular idea into a story and probably into a speech from there. Right. So there are 3 steps: simplify, relate, link. What is simplify? Let's take any prop. Freddy's headset example. Simplify Freddy's headset. How do we simplify it? That's a headset which helps Freddy listen properly to the meetings, right? It cuts Freddy off from all the disturbances outside, right? And it makes Freddy look so nice, that perfect podcast material. Now, how do we relate it to it? I wish the life around us was like Freddy's headset, where we could just at a blink of an or let's say click of a finger cut ourselves off from the outside world and just be focused on exactly what we are looking at. I mean, I wish it would be like so easy. I wish there could be something which could make me look so nice, so polished, so nice as a podcast material. Okay, relating it. Now linking it. Linking it basically is where you tell a story about it. There was a lot of issues in my life where I was getting distracted by every small thing. I was not able to focus on any single task. I used to be jack of all trade but master of none. Then came a moment where I felt, there came a moment where I joined Toastmasters, and there was a mentor who actually acted like Freddy's headset to me. He made me cut off from all the disturbances, and he made me focus on one thing, which is Toastmasters, which actually helped me do the things in a very organized way, which helped me speak properly, communicate properly. So, which means I could say no to tasks which I was not supposed to do. I could say yes to things which I was very passionate about. So, be a Freddy's headset. So this is how we linked a particular prop to an idea and to a speech. right? A very simple example of how you can use this SRL technique. Now let's go to two more examples, basically. This is the best example for me because I had actually went till division contest. I was a runner-up in division contest for my speech, which was plans, something which is very close to my heart. So this is how the speech came up, right? I was sitting one day looking at plans. My wife was just watering the plants, and then I was just looking at them. Plants are so beautiful. They need water. They need some fresh air, and sometimes you need to just trim the leaves, and then they again grow into a beautiful thing. If you stop watering them, if you stop like giving them fresh air, if you keep them into a room with absolutely no air, no sunlight, what happens? They die, right? The whole relation, the whole thing breaks off. Then I started relating it to something which I'm close to. What I'm close to, relations, right? I love relations. I love being in touch with my family, my relatives, my friends, etc. So then I related to it like, don't you think like relationships are like plants? Yeah, because relations also needs to be acknowledged, right? They need to be appreciated. Example, Suhan. I know him since a long time, but of late I don't speak to him much. So which means there's somewhere a bridge, a gap comes in our relationship. So we need to appreciate each other. We need to be in touch, right? And there are sometimes you need to take some strong steps, like cutting off of some friends who are really not great to you, or probably are bringing you into wrong company. So that's all the trimming part all about. And if you do this, the relationship blossoms. If you don't do it, the relationship fails. Then how did I link it? I linked it to my personal story, where how my life was going on, perfect, and there were turbulences coming in because I was not taking care of the relationships, and then I attached them to the plans. And bingo, there was a time when I slowly started picking it up again. My relationship, my personal life also started blossoming into a great garden. Okay, so this is how my speech was, right? So, idea, simplify, relate, link. It was converted into a speech. Okay, now I'll give you one more example. Very simple. This is not from my speech. Okay, Maggie noodles. How many of you love Maggie noodles? Very easy, right? It's something which is easily available, always in stock with us. So how do you simplify a Maggie noodle? Maggie or the noodles is basically the easiest thing to make. It blends with anything, right? You put chicken, it gets taste of chicken. You put vegetables, it takes the taste of vegetables, but it still stands out as noodles. It still stands out, right? You cannot take the Maggie out of the chicken. So it just blends well, but it has its own identity. And it's the most favored one by all generations. Anyone, small, big, would love to have a Maggi noodles anytime, right? How did I relate to it? Now, I related to it saying what's closest to me, the world around me, the people around me. I wish people around me were like Maggi noodles. I could understand them so well, so easily. They could handle the conflicts well. They could still have their own identity. I wish people would be so easier to manage and speak to. And then how do I link it to? Link could be my personal stories or any friend's story. I had a friend or who had some personal things. He was just taking everything in his life so negative. For him, like there were not many good people around him. Everyone was so negative. Everyone was like really troubling him with so many things. But I wish then he got an example of how he can also be like Maggie, easy to understand, easy to blend in, and still stand his own identity. So that's where he started changing himself. He started removing the people who were not good, keeping the people who were good with him. And slowly and steadily, life started becoming good for him again. And everyone started liking him again. Just a small story which I made out of nothing. This is how you probably convert an idea, simplify, relate, link into a story. Perfect. Questions still here? Questions still here? Any questions? I see a green, which means I need to now ask you all to do a small activity. Okay, I'm going to divide you into two teams, R1 and R2, right? Both the teams will have props. Okay, R1 will have the prop as a glass of water. I'll just come back to you on that. And R2, the prop would be a pizza, right? We'll have 5 minutes. I want you to brainstorm between yourself, use the concept of simplify, relate, link. Okay. Use all your ideas, liberate your mind. Grammarian, liberate, okay, and use all your ideas which you have stored till now, and try to come up with a small speech. You don't need to give a speech. You just need to give me highlights of what the speech is going to be. Are we all in for this? Yeah? Speak to yourself. Okay, you'll be working like a team. So R1, can I have a captain from your team, please? R1? Anyone? Other than Hanan? Hanan, you'll be the referee.
No,
Can I have a captain from R1?
saying that I'm ready for the exercise, not nominating myself as a captain.
No, Hanan, you can be the captain. It's fine. Just make sure that you take the ideas from the rest and then you can pull in with your own views, because I know you will come up with fantastic ideas. And R2,
Okay,
Arich, you'll be the captain for R2? Perfect? Okay, great. So I'm going to just show you the screen here. We don't have a team C. So glass of water is for team A, that's R1, and pizza is for team B or R2. Are we all good? Good with this? Perfect. Okay, take moderators. Can I please take your assistance in moving them to different rooms? I'll just hop in and hop out if possible. So since let's get back to the workshop which we're conducting, and can I hear from all of you? How was your experience doing the brainstorming session? And yeah, just a feel of it.
It was amazing.
Like
Made us hungry.
Oh, okay. Hungry
It made
and
us thirsty also.
Okay. So can I have the captains, Toastmaster Arich and Toastmaster Hanan? So R1, Toastmaster Hanan, can we have your thoughts basically? I'll just go to the slide which was given to you.
okay. So simplify. We had more than one idea related to whenever we saw the glass of water. It was some members said that it is water gives the indication of it is a symbol of life. Others said that it is like indicate maybe part of it is half empty and the other is half full. So then we voted and we wanted to go to the sign of life. So simply, some of the members wanted to go to the two ideas, but then we reminded ourselves that simplify, focusing on one idea so that it will be more powerful message. And then we have to relate, yeah? So for us, whenever you drink a glass of water is always when you feel thirsty. So when someone is thirsty? Someone is thirsty is either he is thirsty, he wants to drink water, or he's thirsty for reaching his goals, for new challenging, succeeding, and thirsty maybe for power, thirsty for money, thirsty for many things. Each one of us has his own thirst. So what exactly are you thirsty for? And then you can start from there. We can also relate to that in a sense that when you drink the water, you feel satisfied. You feel that you are full, that you have fulfilled your thirst. So when did you as a person fulfill the thirst of someone else? Being a mentor, being a coach. When was that? So maybe a personal story can be integrated here. When you as a person satisfied your own thirst, what did you do to satisfy your own thirst? Did you acquire new skills? What exactly you did? What kind of new challenges you worked? What kind of skills you have acquired in order to fulfill your thirst? So able to relate to that, to the glass of water, and we will build a speech out of it, because again, you simplified it so much for us. Simplify, relate, and then connect. It was so amazing. We can always, it was for us, it was easy to move from an idea to a topic of a speech. Thank you.
Very nicely done. I must ask, who was the one who gave this suggestion of when did you fulfill the thirst of someone? Because this is so beautiful a thought, and this thought can only come when you actually are doing a lot of good for the people around you. So who gave this idea? May I know this?
I think it was it is a group of work. So I think Faiza, Freddy, all of us, we specified it.
Well done. See, this is how easy it was. Part of life, half water, half full. These are a lot of areas you could look at water and related it very well to thirst. That's where probably the person or the team decided this is where they will focus on. And the speech could easily be built using these areas. Well done, Toastmaster Hanan and team, R1 and team.
Oh my God, We acquired all the points.
Perfect, perfect. Now, can we go to the next team? R2, Toastmaster Rajesh.
Well, the first thing to simplify, we can say that always don't judge the pizza by its box. Because as you all know, we have the square box, which has a round pizza. And when you want to eat it, it will be cut into triangles, right? And that will make us relate the pizza to everyone around us, to the people around us, because they all come in a different opinions, different point of view. You will never find your perfect match or your perfect person. And that's how pizza flavors came differently. And maybe Suraya will be in love with pineapple pizza, which I totally hate, but that does not make all of us same in the same page. That's why pizza is different flavors and people around us as well in a different flavors. And that opinion came by our Toastmaster Asif. He told us about those opinions and different people. We had also Toastmaster, I believe Huma and I don't know how to say the name.
Laika.
They were talking about the pizza crust. We always need to have a strong base for our relations with others and for all those people around us. And this is where the crust of the pizza is the perfect thing we can ever taste and try in our life. And this is how, when we meet people and when we deal with them, we will first see how we will start our base relation with them. And also because it is not always perfect. Sometimes it will be raw or maybe thick or thin for others. That's not everyone will like. That will show that people does not come in a very good relation with you. You will love this person. Sometimes you will not feel that there is a vibe between you and others. But that will be all fine if you will know that the best part of the pizza, which is the cheese, that will make everything amazing and tasty in the pizza. And that's how the good relations became important to your life and to everyone around you. And just to tell you something, we had a last comer came, and that does not neglected her, because we saved the last piece to the last person who entered with our group. And this is how we always need to treat others, in a good way, in a good manners. And you know what? Sairam insisted to eat feta all the time, but we couldn't give him a chance because we had only a pizza.
Job well done, job well done. I'm just running a bit of a short of time. That's one reason I had to just interrupt quickly. For me,
I finished.
Yeah, perfect. So job well done. You have actually understood the concept well. That's more important. For me, when I wrote a pizza, for me the pizza is Toastmasters. That's Toastmasters, different cultures, different people around, and still they all add to one taste. So that's a wrap for me, and I just like to conclude saying everyone and everything around you has a story. The only point is, are you listening to it? So with this, I conclude my workshop. I hope I made some impact in your daily life. So next time, when you come up with an idea, do not hesitate to convert it into a speech, and please give more speeches.